Welcome to the Bodaciously Awesome Family Show. Bodaciously Awesome Family Show. The only show dedicated to helping parents maximize their kids' experiences and for kids to reap the fun. Here are your hosts, the Bodacious family. Welcome.
I was going to say something, but you two had enough volume for three of us, so I'm like, eh.
Well, then I stopped too, not only because you stopped, but because
Welcome to the Bodaciously Awesome Family Show. I'm your coolest host here. They're the co-host, but your coolest host is talking right now.
And your name is, if you said you want to introduce yourself?
And my name is Zachary the Great.
My name is Anthony the Amazing.
And I am Dad the Lesser. And we are the Bodaciously Awesome Family Show. And we're going back to you live each and every week here and doing fun things with adults and kids, fun things to do with your families, fun things to do while you're trapped inside your house as part of quarantine because you can't go anywhere.
Yes.
And so, Anthony, where can people find us? We're like worldwide. We're like all over the place.
We are, literally.
On the ceiling?
Oh, yes, we are on the ceiling. That is actually a podcast platform. Not really, but if it was, we'd be on it.
Where else can people find us?
The number one podcast place in France, the number one podcast thing in India, I think, and all of the American ones.
That is all basically true, yes. Where else, Zachary, can people find us? Like, if they want to say, not just in podcast platform lands, but they want to find other lands in which they can find us in, where should they find us in the lands and where we will be?
YouTube.
That is correct. You also can find us on Facebook and Twitter and
a lot of other places.
And a lot of other places, yeah. So go find us. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. Right?
I have a goal for us.
Oh, I love goals. What is it? I'm scared to ask because we have not pre-rehearsed this, and I'm afraid I'm going to get into something I don't want to get into. But tell me, what is the goal?
If we get 4,000 Twitter followers, we have like 3,600.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, we're right around 3,600. So
we should eat weird foods.
So
order stuff on Amazon. Weird foods.
All right, so we're at 3,600 or so, 3,500 or so Twitter followers. We're at Bodacious Family. You're saying that if we get to 4,000, we should eat some weird food.
Off of Amazon.
We already did that for something. We just should.
Well, when we hit 1,000, we ate crickets, and there was the other time we went to Disney. We ate all the weird food. Mm-hmm. But I like what you're thinking. We'll think about it. I have some ideas. We'll see if we can make that a little bit even more better.
Mm-hmm.
Even more better.
Hey, Anthony, what are we talking about today, specifically and intrinsically?
Today we are intrinsically talking about card games, and we are intricately talking about Theory11 decks of cards.
They're super nice. They're I'm looking at one. It's super nice. They're have a great feel. You guys should go buy them. They're only $10. And what a bargain.
That is okay. That's all true. So one thing that we've done obviously a lot of game podcasts, right? We've done two different podcasts on Ticket to Ride. We've done some on Quicks and dice games. We've done one on the Harry Potter Hogwarts battle. So we've done a lot of game podcasts. And one thing that I started, kind of harking back to in my childhood was using an old regular deck of cards, just a deck of 52, right? And we've learned some magic tricks that we usually just use to amaze Aunt Jeremy with.
Because she can't figure them out, and it's really funny.
It is. She's an easy mark. But what we started learning is, when I grew up, my family played a lot of cards. And that all came from my grandmother, Busha. And the one awesome thing about her is that every time we get together, she'd want to play cards. So we always played gin or pinocchles, which is a really complex game I haven't taught y'all yet.
I know how to play pinochle.
Well, you got it from my family, yes. They all got together and taught you. And the amazing thing about Busha is that she would change the rules during the game.
7 of spades are wilds.
It wasn't that bad, but it would be if you'd be playing and she'd be like, and Zach, you do this, you as a joke, right? We'll playing 500 rummy or something. You're like, oh, you can't do that, that's cheating. And you're just kidding. But she would be serious. She'd be like, no, you can't lay down that 3. I'm like, why can't I lay down that 3? No, you can't lay down the 3 if I've already put down the 9. Like, what? Right? And there would be these weird rules. And this would be when I would be 8, and I'd be like, something's not right. Grandma's legit cheating. And but that was just how we played cards. And
Did she always win since she always cheated?
She won a lot, yes. It happens.
Weird.
Yeah, when you pick up the rules. And one of my earliest memories of my other grandmother, Grandma Bridget, is I remember being sick from school one time, and I was probably like in first or second grade, and her teaching me how to play gin rummy. So I remember sitting at her kitchen table. So cards have always been with me. I remember playing solitaire throughout, as a kid. Just whenever I got, if I get kind of bored, I play solitaire. And so a couple of months ago, Anthony, you remember this? I was just like, for some reason, a nice deck of cards popped in my head. Like, we should have a good deck of cards.
That's literally what happened. He just walked up and like, we should have a nice deck of cards. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, out of nowhere. And so I started doing some research online, and there are some really nice decks out there, and there's a couple of companies that make some nice decks. And we happened upon a company called Theory11.
We like Theory11.
And
they're the best.
These are absolutely amazing. So we bought some Theory11 decks, and they're gorgeous.
The best is the red Star Wars deck. No questions asked. The blue Star Wars deck is not the best. It's the red. Period.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing, Zachary.
Yeah, so they do it. Actually, they have 4 Star Wars decks, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Actually,
all their decks are gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell they've put a lot of time not only into the design of the cards, but like as a kid, we always get the regular old bicycle cards, and like the tuck boxes, the box the cards come in were nothing. We'd throw them away and then put a rubber band around them, right? But these, we want to keep these tuck boxes are like.
Look at this box.
Well, they can't. It's a podcast.
You still should.
But they can't.
It's gold and green, and it's got circles, and it's really.
Well, and circles?
Not only is it gold and green, but get this, it has circles.
And the Star Wars ones, there's a Star Wars things on it. There's like a Starfighter and like the bad guy ship.
Okay, hold on. I just want to touch on Starfighter and the bad guy ship.
Don't. All right, Zach, I'm still trying to love you. And
failing. Starfighter.
So, let's go back to some positivity here. So first of all, we bought a couple of these decks. So we bought the blue Star Wars deck. And I also bought, there's actually a deck. It's designed by Neil Patrick Harris. Neil Patrick Harris, Doogie Howser, MD himself, has his own...
Who?
Doogie Howser, MD.
Okay.
When there was a television show in the 80s or 90s when Neil Patrick Harris was like 11, and he was a doctor.
Okay.
So anyway.
The MPH deck, the best box is the MPH deck.
Okay,
I don't know. I like green, gold, and circles personally.
Green, gold, and circles is Andy's favorite box. But
Midnight with 2 lampposts.
Yeah, but these. But let's get back. So let's talk about the decks here, right? So first of all, Anthony, how do they feel when you shuffle them, or when you deal them? I mean, are they? Talk about their playability. Because it's hard to actually describe because you don't really think about how the fact that you want to have a really nice deck of cards, but these are that nice that it kind of changes the way we've played card games.
They almost have like a glossy, most of them at least, there's some exceptions, but most of them kind of have a glossy finish and they're a little bit thinner.
Yeah, that makes shuffling really easy.
Oh yeah, and my favorite deck personally is the High Victorian or green, golden circles, and they're just so thin and they just shuffle so easily because they're really light.
Yeah, which makes it as a great deck then if you're trying to learn how to shuffle, like Zachary's learning how to shuffle and doing quite well. Or we learned there's a term called cardistry, which is the art of just playing with the cards like a magician would, and these are definitely made with that in mind. Yes, Zachary.
I have a problem with some of the decks.
Oh no, what's your problem? Really? What's your problem?
Sometimes they're just too thin or too thick. You can't shuffle, one side shuffles, but the other side you can't push it down. That really bugs me.
I get you. So, because there's definitely some different feelings to all these cards. And actually, if you go on the Theory11 site, it'll tell you which ones are best for cardistry or for magic tricks or just for playing a game. And when I told you I wanted a nice deck, and then I invited some friends over to play poker, and I told them, I'm going to get some really nice decks, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Who cares, right? It's a bunch of guys playing poker. They don't care about the deck. But yet they all did. Every one of them. So they all said, these are the nicest decks I've ever played a game with. And they become kind of a centerpiece for, in that case, that game. But now, since we started getting these, Anthony, how many days do you think in a row we have played either Rummy or Zach with Solitaire or something like that?
Since we've gotten these, every day.
Yeah, we work every day.
We play Like, I don't remember the last time I didn't play cards.
On any given day, yeah.
Yeah. We've played with these cards way too much.
Yeah, I mean, and we would do it with any one of them.
We play like an hour a day at least. We do
like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We're like,
which
deck am I going to play with today?
We do like 6 hands of Rummy each day.
All right, so Zachary, get this ready here. So I'm asking Anthony a question, then you have to answer the same question. But Anthony, so right now, here are the decks that we got. I'm just going to run through them real quick. So first of all, like I said, a deck designed by Neil Patrick Harris, which is very cool.
Naturally.
A deck designed by Jimmy Fallon, also pretty interesting to me. A deck called Union, which has like some like old feel, like patriotic cards. There's the 2 Star Wars decks, red and black, or red and blue for light and dark side. Then there is a deck called Monarchs, which
feel the best.
Yeah, which feel amazing, and they have actually they were the deck in
Now You See Me.
Now You See Me, the movie, and that's the decks they used in that because Theory11 was like a consultant on the film, like that company consulted them. Then the High Victorian, which are the gold circle thingies.
Gold, green, and circle. Get it right. Gosh.
Then the Hollywood Roosevelt, which might be my favorite. And then the deck I actually want to highlight here is called the Provision. And so when we were picking out our decks, we let Zach pick out a deck. And that's the one that he latched onto.
Provision.
And I saw the pictures and I thought, man, this is a pretty basic, just good utility, boring looking deck. Holy cow, they might be my favorite. I think they are amazing. Wow. I love the look of them. I absolutely love.
Yeah, they're very unique, and I do like them a lot. I wouldn't say love, but I do. They are up in my higher echelon.
They're definitely I was not expecting much out of them, and I really like them
I would agree with that.
All right, so Anthony, your top 3 decks.
Top 3?
From the ones you like to play with, the ones that feel the best, the ones that look the best. You got to kind of combine all that into one.
Well, one is High Victorian, definitely.
That's the green circle thingies.
Green, gold, and circle.
My bad.
I'm going to smack you. My second favorite is probably the Hollywood Roosevelt. I'm going to pat it every time I say Hollywood Roosevelt. I like those a lot.
What I love about those is the backs of them are so simple. But inside, so all these, by the way, all of them have unique cards for the suits, right? For the court. So the kings, the queens, the jacks, and the aces, all of them have a different design for all of those cards, and those are obviously pretty obvious, say in the Star Wars decks. And actually, it's not true. The Neil Patrick Harris decks do not have unique, nor the Monarchs. You're right, but most of the other ones do.
Wait, do the Monarchs? I think
no, they don't.
No, they don't.
But like the Star Wars ones, like you have the Jokers, or say the Jacks are things like Boba Fett, and the Queens are Amidala and Mama Mothma. Just amazing detail.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so Zachary, what are your favorites?
I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry. Go on, finish.
And my third favorite is probably the red Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Zachary now.
Can I have 4?
Yeah, sure.
Because I have 2. Wait, never mind. 4. The answer is red Star Wars, Provision, Union, Jimmy Fallon.
Those are really good. I think you picked good ones. The only difference I would probably make is I kind of like the blue more than the red Star Wars. They're both, it doesn't matter. They're both amazing. So just one or the other. And I would probably swap out the Fallon for the Roosevelt, the Hollywood Roosevelt. I think those are just like, they're so just classically iconic looking. And that's put out weird things like, that I love about all of them. Like I said, I agree with you, Anthony. The Monarchs are by far just the easiest to move around. So I guess the cardistry, whatever they did to those, it makes them so easy to shuffle and to deal, and I'm guessing to do card tricks with. Again, that's probably why they're the basis, or why they're the cards used in the movie Now You See Me, because of how they can be used like that. Yes, Zachary.
That's actually my least favorite. Because there's no designs on the cards, just a basic deck. Don't get me wrong here. They're awesome. I love them. But the box is probably the coolest part of the deck. I really don't like these cards. I mean, I still like them, but all the other ones...
I'll give the other ones your least, yeah. Well, because, the one thing that I think you're trying to get to is that, inside, when you get to the face cards, the King's Court, those cards are all basically the same, whereas a lot of the other decks have differences, right? Mm-hmm. And so because that's one thing we started looking at, right, is when you start really then looking at the details, which ones have little details that start really standing out. We noticed the other day, the Star Wars cards and all the aces have a ship embedded inside the suit in the center of the ace. Now, we'd already noticed that, but it just also really gets put together. Wow, those are just so cool.
Especially the Provision ones. Let me just take this out of the card package, and let's see. Let me find one. Like the king.
That's a gorgeous card.
Yeah, the King of Spades is probably my favorite. It has the King George, the third or second or first, with two swords on two different sides, and they're connecting into his body with snakes all over it.
Yeah,
the reason I like them is because, like, on the backs, there's, like, snakes, and on the deck.
Yeah, I did not realize it was going to have a snake theme to this deck, but it definitely does. And I don't know if it's King George or not, but, many of those kings have, like, the top and bottom part. But, yeah, like, the snake and the artistry that how the symbolism of the snake is gone through that deck is really cool.
It is.
My favorite, like, if we're talking about, like, the face cards, my favorite face cards, again, High Victorian is pretty much my favorite everything. Because instead of, like, actually having the person, it's kind of unique what they do, because...
Yeah, like, spells it out, like, literally.
Yeah, hold on, let me find one. Like the Ace of Spades, like, it has the symbol or whatever, or here's a better example, Jack of Diamonds. Like, it still has the axes that the Jack of Diamonds would have, but it does not have a physical jack on it.
No, it's almost like a, it almost feels like a chess piece.
It is.
Right?
I think that's kind of the feeling they're going for.
Yeah.
They are for, finely crafted for the inquisitive mind.
Oh,
That's the tagline for this.
That's on the box. Yeah. So a lot of the boxes have different sayings on them.
Let me read mine. I've got to find it. Where is it? Trade registered mark.
The trade registered, that means it's trademarked. That is not a unique statement at all. Like the unions one say the only and the original.
Yeah.
Obviously, Neil Patrick Harris made by Neil Patrick Harris. What's cool is that the Star Wars one has a couple things all over it. Like on one side, it says "Luminous beings are we." This is on the blue one.
Yeah.
And then other one says "May the Force be with you."
And on the inside of the box, it says something too. If you open it,
it says "Stay on target."
Yeah, it says "Stay on target,"
which is a great choice.
Stay on target.
And then
I have you now.
Yeah, the red one has "I have you now," so that takes place in the same scene at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And the red one then has "Now I am the master" and "The power of the dark side" as its other little sayings. It's just like the detail. There's lightsabers on it. Like the detail is so. It's amazing. They're absolutely beautiful. And
all the decks, the detail is just mind blowing.
But what I love, so what it came down to, right, is on one level we want to have some fun, some decks to have fun with, and I want to have like a poker night or whatever, and they become a centerpiece, and you can go buy a deck of cards for like $7, $10, right? These are 10, so they're a little bit more expensive, but not by much.
And they're so much better.
Yeah, and they're a centerpiece instead of just a piece of function. They're almost like functional art. But what it allowed us to do then is we've had cards before.
Play cards more.
Right, because we now have really gotten into it because we want to go pick the deck. You said we'll go and like pick which deck we want to play with. And so, Zach, which solitaire games have I taught you? What kind of solitaire have you been playing?
Clock solitaire, pyramid and match.
Yes.
My favorite's match.
Match solitaire was always my favorite too. It's the easiest to set up because I never liked clock because it took so long to set up and then you might lose. Regular solitaire, kind of similar. I have to teach you that one how to set it up. But mostly, Anthony, what have you really been playing with most of our time here?
Rummy, 500 Rummy.
So yeah, because there was a lot of different kinds. So earlier today I taught you Gin Rummy.
It's not nearly as fun as 500 though.
Yeah, 500 was always my favorite because it's the one that has the most action, right?
Yeah.
Like Gin is probably the more, like you have to think more through it because you really have to pay attention to the cards.
There's definitely more strategy to Gin.
Yes, whereas in 500 is more like chaos. And
500 is controlled chaos, without a question.
And then I think what I got to do is next is I got to teach you all hearts. And I've shown you and Mom how to play. So I think the next bet is hearts. And then we might have to break into some things with trumps like spades or euchre. I really want to teach you all euchre because it was a game that basically I played all the time through college. And
so you're going to be really good at it.
But you play with a partner, so you have teams. Right now we've only been playing games that aren't with partners. This will be a team game, which is kind of fun. And it's so easy to play that it doesn't really matter, right? And it's just a fun game to kind of play around with. Cool. Have you all heard of any other types of card games that you might want to learn? Like you mentioned learning Pinochle, that coming from Grandma. Now that you know a little bit more about cards, you really want to learn Pinochle and like actually learn how to play or bridge or anything like that?
Well, obviously the card game I've heard of the most is Spades. I feel like that's kind of the big one, so I'm really interested in learning Spades.
Okay.
It's a solitaire game that I really want to know. you always say it's like, oh, it's the best game ever. Oh, yeah. The best solitaire game that you said was, I'm pretty sure, Tri-Peaks. I want to try that.
Tri-Peaks?
Yeah.
Tri-Peaks is good. It's just really hard to set up. So it's easier to do that one as an app on a phone because of how it has to play. So we can definitely get it as a phone app. It would take me a long time to set up as a card game. But yeah, we can play that one as well. We can definitely do that. So now also, anything else here, Anthony? You've looked through other Theory 11 decks. Like I said, we got a whole we have 9 of them. But are there any others that you thought, my God? Oh, by the way, we should say, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Theory 11 did provide us some. We did buy, we started off by buying them, but then Theory 11 did send us some.
They sent us 6 decks.
Yeah. This review is not in any way influenced by that. This happened to be amazing, awesome cards, which is why I told them after I bought them, like, hey, these are amazing. So they kind of knew where this was going. But after you look through them, is there any others that you thought looked so nice we may have to obtain?
I did really like, I don't remember I think they're called the Voyagers.
Oh, the Voyager did look really good. Yes, Zach.
Hudson's.
I did like the Black Hudson.
Black Hudson. See, the Black Hudsons look to me, and we'll have to be able to get them just to find out, very similar to the Hollywood Roosevelt. To me, they had a similar feel.
Definitely.
Just, again, only in the pictures that we saw. But I did like the Roosevelts more, the Hollywood Roosevelts. That's why I got those. But yes, the Voyager was the other one I thought was really, really cool.
I've actually never played with the Hollywood Roosevelts.
We will have to change that. They also just launched 2 new Star Wars decks this week.
I saw that.
So
because I follow them on Instagram.
Silver and gold.
Yeah, they're silver and black. One thing to note, by the way, about the Star Wars decks, I think this is important. So I do think this is so Theory 11. I will say this is one thing that I think that it should be more clearly defined in the marketing material. Is that the inside, the face cards of the Star Wars decks, no matter the color of the outside, is the same. So I thought there was initially I thought there was different pictures on the inside. The suits were different. They are not. It's the same insides, just with different outsides and different backings. Which you see when you look on their website, but yeah, for some reason I at least misinterpreted that.
I also like the Contraband cards, is what they're called. And they're a bit of an older one, but these look really nice too.
Yeah, basically everything on their site is amazing. It's Theory 11 in the number 11, so Theory11.com. And another thing about them is that they also do magic tricks. Because again, they're consultants on the Now You See Me movies, or Now You Can See movies. And so you can do a lot of different things. But I'm telling you, these will elevate your card game internally, whether it's in poker or just household games. You will want to play cards more with them.
Yes.
You'll want to teach those to your kids or whatever, and you'll just like having them. It'll become a centerpiece for you.
If you want to get Theory 11, if you want to give us some more cards, then
we will gladly accept.
Yeah, we'll gladly take them.
Will we do another episode about them?
We will.
I'll let them know. We'll do another episode on whatever new decks they give us.
Yeah.
They also, I'm not even trying to be a shill for them, but I will anyway. They have a gift box you can get, and I think it's like 12 decks, and it's $100, so it's a little bit less expensive than a per deck fee. But you actually pick out the 12 decks you want, and they come in a custom gift box that you can then use it to display your cards in.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Send us the box, please. That's all I want. I just want a custom box.
They're really nice. So again, so Theory11, the number 11.com, and just beautiful, beautiful cards. And as I said, they will become the center of like your poker night or the center of your game nights as you do this, because everyone will want to use those decks. They're that nice.
Yes, definitely.
Anthony, is there anything else you got to talk to here about? We're a bit over time today.
It's fine. But there is one more thing that we have to say before we sign off, and that is Zachary's random thought of the day. Zachary, I have a question for you. What is your random thought of the day?
Looking at the Hollywood Roosevelt.
Hollywood Roosevelt's a great answer. All right, everyone, we're going to be taking off here. Don't just be awesome.
Be Bodaciously awesome.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.